Are the Marias rock, indie, or psychedelic pop? What genre are the Marias? Indie pop? Dream pop? Psychedelic pop? Indie rock? Or maybe none of them? Because if you've ever listened to a song like Cariño, Hush,
Forget about it, hush.
Only in My Dreams,
Baby, stay with me.
or No One Noticed,
Maybe
you've probably noticed something strange. Their music feels familiar, but it's surprisingly difficult to put into a box. There are dreamy guitars, soft, almost whispered vocals, jazz-inspired harmonies, funky bass lines, Latin rhythms, psychedelic textures. And sometimes, underneath all of it, there's a surprisingly strong rock influence. So today, let's investigate one question. Are the Marias rock, indie, or psychedelic pop? And by the end, we might discover that the most accurate answer is a little more complicated.
How are you doing tonight? Come on in, guys.
Wow. You guys are having the year, aren't you?
We gotta get
This is
everybody
the
in.
year of the Marias.
Let's start with the easiest label, indie. The Marias emerged from Los Angeles in 2016, founded around vocalist Maria Sardoya and drummer, producer, and multi-instrumentalist Josh Conway. And from the beginning, their music existed outside the conventions of mainstream pop. Their early releases, including the Super Clean EPs, already established many of the ingredients that would become their signature: soft percussion, warm bass, reverb-heavy guitars, vintage keyboards, jazz-influenced chords, and Maria's intimate, breathy vocals.
sure what I do is not for you. Forget about it.
Some fans have described your music as like Sex in the 70s, like pouring cream into coffee.
But here's something important. Indie doesn't necessarily describe a sound. Originally, indie referred more to the independent ecosystem surrounding a band. Over time, however, indie became a musical identity of its own. And the Marias fit that identity beautifully. They sound intimate rather than gigantic, stylish rather than flashy, atmospheric rather than aggressive. Their songs often feel like they were recorded inside a dimly lit room at 2 a.m., rather than designed inside a giant pop factory. And even as their audience has grown dramatically, that intimacy hasn't disappeared. Apple Music itself describes them as an LA indie pop band, while categorizing their overall sound under alternative. So, indie? Definitely. But that doesn't explain everything. Because there is another word that appears again and again when people describe the Marias: dream pop.
I mean, that genre of pop was like what I grew up listening to, and like I was just such a huge fan of Britney. There's like a video of me when I was like, I don't know, 11, like singing Baby One More Time.
Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right here?
Listen carefully to the way the Marias build atmosphere. The guitars don't always feel like they're sitting directly in front of you. They feel distant, floating, sometimes almost underwater. The vocals aren't usually pushed aggressively to the front of the mix. Instead, Maria's voice seems to exist inside the atmosphere. And this is one of the defining characteristics of dream pop. the texture becomes just as important as the melody.
Luego a truquillo pa' tomar el sol. Estar contigo es puro dembow.
It's not only about what you're hearing, it's about the environment the music creates around you. This is particularly obvious on Submarine. The album feels almost aquatic by design. Ambient textures, echoing instruments, soft vocals, and electronic details create a sensation of being submerged. Even the production contributes to the album's emotional concept. The result is music that can be sad without sounding heavy, beautiful without becoming overly dramatic, and romantic without necessarily sounding happy. That contradiction is extremely important to the Marias, because their music often sounds like a beautiful memory that you aren't sure you should remember. Grammy described Submarine as an album of ethereal pop, while the Associated Press highlighted its combination of mellow dance beats, Latin instrumentation, and jazz rhythms. So, dream pop gets us much closer, but there's still something missing. Because the Marias don't just make dreamy music. Sometimes their music gets weird.
I'll fall apart. Is she all that you want? Is she all that you need?
This is where the psychedelic argument becomes interesting. Psychedelic music isn't simply music with strange sounds. At its core, psychedelic production is about changing the listener's perception. Effects become part of the composition. Sounds appear to move. Guitars become hazy. Vocals can feel detached from reality. And familiar musical structures can suddenly feel slightly unreal.
I'll lay on your rooftop in the freezing cold, and I'll watch the sunset wearing all your clothes.
I love warm tones, like tones that sort of calm me down. Yes.
Bass, definitely, and drums. Bass and drums and horn.
Reverb.
Reverb?
A lot of reverb.
Ooh, we love it, because you can feel it. Just
Yeah,
feels it in the
The
song.
Marias use many of these techniques. Their guitars can sound hypnotic. Their keyboards create hazy layers. Their vocals are surrounded by reverb. And their production frequently blurs the line between a song and a sonic environment. Their early music was already described as combining vintage jazz, psychedelia, funk, and lounge with modern indie pop and electronic music. And that's why calling them psychedelic pop isn't completely wrong. But I wouldn't make it their main genre. Why? Because psychedelia is more like one of their colors than the entire painting. Their music isn't consistently psychedelic enough to define the whole catalog. And that brings us to another major ingredient. Here's something you might miss if you're only listening casually. The Marias are much more musically sophisticated than their dreamy aesthetic initially suggests. Underneath the softness, there is rhythm, there is groove, and there is harmony. Maria Sardoya has spoken about her influences from jazz and neo-soul, while Josh Conway has gravitated more toward atmospheric indie rock. Their collaboration is part of what gives the band its unusual balance, and you can hear it. The bass isn't simply supporting the song, it often has its own personality. The drums aren't there just to keep time, they create a relaxed, almost hypnotic pulse. And the chord progressions often avoid sounding completely predictable. Their music can move between jazz-inflected harmony, soul, funk, electronic production, and Latin textures without announcing that it's changing genres. That's actually one of the band's biggest strengths. They don't say, "Now we're going to play jazz." They simply absorb it. The same thing happens with their Latin influences. Maria was born in Puerto Rico and raised in Georgia, and she has described the cultural duality of growing up between those worlds. She also began writing songs in both Spanish and English from an early age. So Spanish isn't just an aesthetic accessory in the Maria's music, it's part of the band's identity. And this becomes especially interesting when we look at their lyrics.
Aquí estoy otra vez, sin tu amor, siento que me cuesta ya respirar.
So far, we've discovered that the Marias are much more than just dreamy pop. There are jazz harmonies, funky grooves, Latin influences, psychedelic textures, and that unmistakable indie atmosphere. But there's still one problem. We haven't answered the question. Because if the Marias are really a combination of all these sounds, where do they actually belong? Are they indie pop, dream pop, psychedelic pop? Or is there more rock hiding underneath their dreamy aesthetic than we realize? And then there's one song that completely changed the conversation around them. No one noticed. How did one of their most understated songs become a massive global hit? And what does that tell us about the evolution of the Maria's sound? That's where things get really interesting. So if you want to find out where the Marias really belong, I'll see you in part 2.